Does anyone else get tremendously unnerved at the way some people smile? I imagine there has to be quite a bit of you, considering the movie Smile exists and managed to take what should be a happy emotion and flip it around to be terrifying. Almost as if breaching into the territories of the uncanny valley, where a lingering sense of threat and danger can be felt just at the sight. What's fascinating is the director of Smile actually had his own method of taking the smile and turning it into something sinister. According to him, basically all the other features of the face can't match up with the smile, and the huge indicator is the eyes. Take the final scene in Pearl for example. Mia Goth may be smiling, but those eyes are telling us something way different. Why are we talking about creepy smiles, you may ask? Well, this analog horror series is all about them, the Smile tapes. This series has been floating around YouTube for a while now, and it's about time I actually checked it out. As always, be sure to check out and support the original series before jumping on over here for us to tackle these scares. But without further ado, let's see how far we can get before the smile takes over us.
But before I let you get too far, just wanted to say if you're new here and enjoy what you're watching, be sure to hit all those neat buttons down below as it really helps support the channel. And if you want to see more, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Letterboxd. Alright, now you can pass through.
The Smile Tapes, Volume 1. To start off the series, we are shown a PSA to warn us of a new smile drug, and we are advised to stay far away from anyone who appears to be under its influence. In the past few months, there has been a shocking 500 deaths in direct relation to this drug. Its visible effects include mania, uncontrollable laughter, and violent tendencies. To top it all off, that sinister-looking smile. Something about this drug seems to make these people want to attack others in their path. Before learning much more, we are brought to the Smile Investigation Journal. We learn that the drug is made of spores from an unidentified species of fungus, and the risk of accidental intake is very high. So it's like The Last of Us. We are introduced to two patients who were both brought to the emergency room at the same time. They had complaints of severe headaches and facial cramps. Since this seemed to be a precursor to the smile effects, they were brought to the lab for further observation. The first week, the patients were beginning to smile, but were attempting to resist it. They also suffered from meningitis until it subsided within 2 days. At this point, they were still maintaining their sanity. I have a feeling that's going to change rather quickly. On week 2, they were no longer able to resist the smile. Just look at how happy they seem. Plus, those violent tendencies started to show up, along with the manic laughter. Week 4, and the patients' faces were permanently disfigured. It also states that their behavior and motor functions began to decline. I wonder how capable they are of attacking in that case. Once we get to week 5, we're only shown one of the patients, and his face has begun to deteriorate, and the brain is in the late stages of Alzheimer's. Patient 2 isn't here because they didn't last as long. Patient 1 ended up dying a week later. While performing an autopsy, they found the fungus in the brain cells, and while 2 morticians were close by, a gas started to burst out of the patient's mouth. Except it wasn't gas, it was spores of the fungus. Given that it was highly likely they inhaled the spores, they were immediately quarantined. Turns out it's exactly like The Last of Us. Something that makes this and The Last of Us so terrifying is that cordyceps are a real thing, but luckily they only infect ants, spiders, and other insects. Incapable of infecting us humans, but still creepy to think about. After that segment, we're introduced to Sean G, and we begin to read through his logs beginning in December of 1994. I went out for groceries and this strange man threw flour at me on my way home. That is quite strange, but again, if you know anything about The Last of Us, this probably cemented poor Sean's fate. The next day, Sean recounts a vivid dream he had, where he was flying through space and becoming one with the universe, until he saw a man before waking up. Looking at this picture, are you sure it wasn't a nightmare? Sean then reports having the same dream again the next night, followed along with the same man, except this time he was smiling. Jumping ahead in time a bit, and he has been having the same dream for the whole week, to the point where it's starting to worry him. And this is when the virus seems to take effect. He states his face won't stop twitching, and he's been struck with a really terrible migraine, which continues to go on for the next 4 days. On the 18th of December, he now reports that it feels like someone is pulling the sides of his mouth up. The smile forcibly